Hi, everyone. This is VA to VA, and we're so glad you joined us or are watching us after. We appreciate it very much. We have the three of us that are on the panel, and we have a guest with us. We're going to talk about confidence in business today, and especially for women in business because it's a very big issue. But I want everybody to introduce themselves, and we'll get started. So, Nanette, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, my name is Nanette Telemack. I run, in essence, virtual assistants out of New Hampshire, Newbury, New Hampshire, and I have clients all over the United States and have had clients in other countries. And I have been in business for about 3 years now.
Lisa?
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Cole with Augusta Virtual Assistants. I am based out of Augusta, Georgia. My team is kind of spread out across the country. I have one in Ohio, one in the Boston area, Atlanta area, some here in Augusta and the suburbs surrounding it. So I have a very diverse mix of professionals on my team that deal with clients in different aspects. So we're glad that you joined us, and we hope that you get a lot out of our speaking about confidence today.
And of course, I'm Tammy with Tammy's Office Solutions, and we have also a lot of clients throughout the United States, as well as team that helps me and are also all over the United States, and I feel very blessed in that. And Lisa, will you please introduce our guest? I know you're very familiar with him.
Today we are going to be collaborating and talking with Larry Guenwald. He's out of Arizona, Phoenix area, right, Larry?
Yeah, right in the center.
Okay. And he is one of my clients. Larry is a business coach, and he has written several courses about procrastination and one about confidence called The Confident You. And since we were going to be talking today about confidence, I thought about Larry, and I thought it would be a good idea for him to come on and talk to us about the different aspects of confidence barriers, confidence boosters, and how women in business can, learn how to build confidence in their business.
Mm-hmm. I know. I'm so glad, Larry, you were able to join us today because it's just a perfect fit, and I'm really looking forward to some of the things that you can add to our conversation. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know Nanette was wonderful and doing a lot of research for us. So, Nanette, would you like to recap some of that?
Sure. In doing some research, I found a lot of articles and books on confidence, and I focused on women, and since that everyone has to deal with confidence, lack of confidence, but it particularly affects women in business, and that's what I wanted to concentrate on. It seems like women instinctively focus on everyone but themselves, and so taking the time for self-development doesn't come really natural to us. Girls, from little girls, we're often encouraged to be passive, not too daring and confident. And after all, we don't want to feel threatened by anyone. So that's something that we go through all the time. And some of the statistics that I've gathered, just in general statistics on women and confidence, is that almost 50% of women believe they would be further in their career if they had more self-belief, according to a survey that I found, and that women are 57% of college graduate women. Women are 57% of college graduates and 63% of master's degree holders, but that majority fades as their career progresses, which is a shame. You put all that money into your learning, and then you don't really do much with it in terms of becoming a manager or a CEO or something. And 21% of the Fortune 500 CEOs are women. 21% of the Fortune 500 CEOs are women. Women hold about 14% of executive officer positions, and women hold 16% of board seats. And in Congress, there's only 18% of women. And the sad part is that in 1970, women were paid 59 cents for every dollar men made, and now in 2015, it's jumped up to 77 cents. And I found that, kind of depressing. And when it comes to women entrepreneurs like ourselves, there are 7 women for every 10 men starting businesses in 2012, and that number is down from 8 women for every 10 men in 2011. Nearly 2/3 of men are confident that they can start a business, but less than half of women feel they have this capability. This is despite similar levels of education and experience. And only 1 in 13 women are looking at starting a business during the next 5 years versus 1 in 5 men. So, these are some of the statistics that are coming out. Women had a 5.3 rate of discontinuing their businesses versus 3.6% for men. So as you can see, there seems to be, for women, there's a struggle, and a lot of that struggle that I found it's twofold. It's perception of women in business. That's one obstacle. A Pew Research Center survey noticed that 43% of Americans believe that women in executive business positions are held to higher standards than men, and the same percentage believes that in the U.S. that women are not prepared. They're not prepared to hire women for these top-tier positions, and that is not a very good sign for entrepreneur women.
Can we, expand on that? That really is shocking to me.
Yeah, it is shocking.
Women are held to a higher standard than men in business.
It's sort of like we have to work harder to prove ourselves. Where men, it's just assumed that they have these skill levels that make them a CEO. And that's ingrained in us. We're taught that growing up. This is attitude that men are the go-getters and women are the caregivers. And so that's a problem that we constantly face, especially when we're trying to start a business. And we're seen as we have to be nicer, we can't be too aggressive. So we're kind of put in a rock and a hard place, if you will.
And then, excuse me, Nanette.
Yeah.
And those who do, though, and like if a woman does have that assertiveness or any of those characteristics, she's thought of as a witchy woman, or she's very people talk bad about her because she's strong and she's willing to go after what she wants, and it's a negative connotation instead of it being a positive thing. Whereas for a man, it's a very positive thing.
Exactly. So it's sort of not fair that we have to go through that, So that means we have to work even harder. We have to prove ourselves constantly. That could be tiresome. Now, you couple that with just how women are hardwired to think less of themselves. And now you look at some more disturbing barriers, and that's our own barriers in terms of self-confidence. More male college students say they want to reach managerial levels. They're 3 years after school than females. Women are much less likely to say they want to be president. I don't want to be president, so that's
Me either.
Who does? But middle school boys say they want to be leaders when they grow up. Middle school girls usually don't say that. Successful women are more likely to feel like imposters who will be found out. And I know that. I feel that sometimes myself. When I started my business 3 years ago, I was unsure if I could do it. I didn't feel like I had the confidence to do it, but I wanted to do it. I was determined to do it. But I felt like, and I don't like this term, but I'm a fake it till I make it. And I don't have to fake anything. I'm actually quite competent. But I had to think, that's how I was thinking. And I think a lot of us feel that way.
I can relate to that, because when you said that, I thought the same thing, because I have been there. And even still sometimes, if I get a new client and I'm thinking, okay, what they need is a little different, and I'm sure I can do it, but can I, and all those things.
Right.
And I go through that again, still in my head, even though 8 years later, I'm still in business, So we have that self-talk that we do to ourselves also. And it's not that anybody else has told us necessarily after we start the business that we can't do it.
Right.
But there's that self-talk. And if you don't get the encouragement from family members or others, that are in your circle as well, then you're really starting out in a negative position almost, trying to start. And I think one of the things that does play well for us is that often women have a very high endurance and can really stick in there with things, whereas a man might have pulled out, long beforehand, if that makes sense. But I do think that, and we're naturally wired different, and I understand that. God created us different, men and women, and I understand that, and there was a reason for that. But I think that we certainly do lack that confidence, and we do that self-talk like you're talking about, Nanette, because that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we should have the confidence, whether in business or in anything in life, to believe who we are and who we were created to be.
Right.
Exactly. Another statistic that Nanette mentioned was that 5 failed compared to 3.6 for men. And that's directly related to their confidence. And, I mean, some of it I'm sure may have to do with choices,
Yeah.
But things like that are crucial to the success. I mean, that is like very surprising to me. I'm not a hugely confident person myself, but I did not realize the ratio was that different.
Right. Right.
And I think probably people watching for us saying we're not confident are going, what? Because they probably think we have great confidence. We're doing this and all of that, but we're doing this from the comfort of our home offices, or Nanette, you're in your office that you're used to, so there's a difference there. But also, we had such a heart for wanting to help other entrepreneurs. And but I think that we are surprised when we talk to other women and other business owners how they feel in it too. And we often don't talk about that aspect of it. We just keep going and we say everything's good, and all of that, but we don't talk about that self-talk and the encouragement that we don't always get.
Right. Right. And quite frankly, I think we need to do it for ourselves, and that training that we need to do, because what I found interesting was they that women tend not to they tend to downplay their abilities, where men don't. I'm great. I know what I'm doing, even if they don't. And I know that because my husband does it all the time. But I don't. I downplay my abilities, and that's something we really shouldn't be doing. No easy to say, well, it's luck, or I was I was really lucky, or this person helped me out, or this, that, and we're not really like championing ourselves that we did it. We took that risk, and I think that's something that we need to do more of, is take risks, continue to move forward even if we're unsure, and persevere, cause that we're good at that, and that's something that we need to do, and because for each little, because success isn't all or nothing. It's a journey, and I feel that you have to keep on doing it and patting yourself in the back, and then that leads to more success, little small successes, and then that thing just cycles around and around for you. That's how I think of it.
Yeah, and I think the more we do, yes, the more risk we take, and the more we do see that we can do it, it does help us, and it builds our confidence for certain. And I think when we step out and try something, even though we might fear it or think we can't do it, when we do it, it helps considerably to break through a barrier there. And Lisa and I, when we were talking about this particular HOA even, we said something to the effect of, it seems like the older we get, the more risks we take. And I said, I don't know if that's because we don't have as much to lose. Or what?
There anymore. It's like,
that's right.
Not as many distractions like children,
That's true too.
children,
Very
things
much.
like that. I think that might have something to do with it. But Nanette also, found that when asked the key to their success, female entrepreneurs indicated that confidence is critical. to success. However, research continues to show that women are less self-assured than men, and this lack of confidence is impacting their ability to succeed, and that is spot on.
Mm. That's true. Yeah. And it doesn't help that the expectations put on us by other people. We have to show we have to have high levels of social qualities, being there to help other people's needs. We're the caregivers, right? So and a good example of that is this week, and again, this is because we're not the only ones trained to think this way. Our spouses and the men around us are trained as well, and that's something that we should take responsibility to retrain. And a good example I use is that I have 2 laptops at home. My husband has he does work from home as well as my side business. His computer broke, and he was saying, I have to use your computer. Because I do have a full-time job besides my side business. And I was like, wait a minute, I need my computer for today, for instance. And he's like, but I need to make money. That comes first. And it minimalizes what I do. I'm not only working full-time job, I have a side business. And that is just as crucial as what his needs. So, I'm not doing that for the bitch session, but I could. But basically, it's minimizing what I do for his needs, and that's something that I have to constantly correct. That's my job to correct. Because if I want someone to see me as important, I gotta, let's talk about this. Let's collaborate how you can get your needs met, but I have an importance too, and that's something that I have to constantly remind myself to do. It's easy to back down and say, oh yeah, honey, okay, but wait a minute, I need this. So I have my needs to be met. I have a business to run. I have things that I have to accomplish too. So remembering that, it's not, I can't always be the caregiver, and that's okay if I'm the bad, if they see me as the bad person. But I have a job to do, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right there. That's absolutely.
Larry would probably agree with us, but I see here from the research Nanette did, it says confidence is a skill that develops with awareness and practice, whereas a lot of people think that it's something we either have or don't have.
Right. True.
He also said, if you practice being negative, worried, and discouraging, you'll become skilled at the negativity and pessimistic mindset, which is true. Yeah. So when business people ask which comes first, confidence or success, they usually reply success because they believe they need that big boost to get their confidence going. But the problem with that is reasoning that you likely won't achieve a substantial success unless because you're lacking confidence.
Right.
Because you won't take those risks that Tammy mentioned.
Right. So it's true, and I'm sure that we'll touch on this and further. But I mean, steps in achieving confidence for your business. There's several things, and I think that for anyone, regardless of women and men, whatever, is not to fear failure, because that's just a part of life, isn't it? I mean, we just need to persevere. And to me, a failure is if I fail in something, then I've learned something, and I'm going to go forward. Now I have a better understanding and experience, and so you can't let that hold you back. And
I've learned the most in business from my failures, and it makes me, you learn what not to do too, and those are just as important as what to do.
Exactly. I mean, I starting this venture, I feel like I'm here to bring my abilities and skill levels to a small business. But if it doesn't work out, there's a lot of variables, and I can't beat myself up on it. But what can I learn from it so that I can be a better, so I can better help the next person, the next customer. So that's how I have to see it if I'm going to continue doing this business. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think that that's helpful in terms for all of us to remember.
I agree. We also have a comment, Charla. Thank you, Charla. She says sometimes it's just about longevity and sticking with it, falling down and picking yourself up over and over. And that's so true, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen?
It, that's true. And I think, acting more and thinking less, so easy. You think so much and all of a sudden you can't do anything. You're just stuck, and so, I think that, acting more in terms of, stop letting your self-doubts perpetrate and ruminate in your head. Just go for it.
Absolutely. And I think, that is the biggest part of it is our own, negative talk, our own things that we do to ourselves. So what are some things that you guys do to combat that? So if we're going to talk about confidence, now that we know some of the things that keep us negative or make us not have that confidence, what are some things that you guys do to help you build confidence? Well, don't speak at once.
I have a good, strong support system. I think my support system helps me when I'm feeling unsure about a decision or what path to take in a certain situation. There are people that I can reach out to kind of, to keep it real. Am I overreacting? Should I go this way or this way? So I have a mentor and also a good friend that's a VA that I depend on, and what's the word I'm looking for? I trust their opinions and things like that, their guidance and things like that. So I do have a support system. I actively surround myself with positive people, encouraging people. I have a vision board that's right above my desk. I look at it all day, every day while I'm working. My daughter created it for me, and it has pictures and affirmations about success. I mean, as I look at it right now, I have one affirmation: strong, sexy, super confident. Another one says, don't downgrade your dreams, just make your reality, upgrade your conviction to match your destiny. I have Bible verses on it, like one from Proverbs 31, verse 25. She is clothed with strength and dignity and laughs without fear of the future. And then I have pictures of my family. I'm a water baby. My husband and I love to sail, so I have, pictures of a house on the ocean. I have a pontoon boat because that's my vision. I'm going to get my pontoon boat. Husband has the sailboat. I'm getting the pontoon boat. I also have a red Lexus up here looking at me because that's that's my vision. And so I, just different things like that. Having a surroundings of affirmation, positive, goal, support system, and things like that.
Yeah, and that's what I found in the research that I was looking at. They mentioned, having a mentor and being around positive people, letting go of any toxic, negative people out of your life, because you don't need that. Those are some of the things that that was suggested in terms of helping you build confidence, and also training yourself how you think. Always making sure that you're being your own champion.
I agree. I think all of those things that you guys discussed are really good. And I know for me, being in the Word, Scripture is a big thing to keep me focused and keep me in the right place in prayer. And as well as Lisa inspired me to do an inspiration board. So I'm in the middle of doing that as well. But I also, there's so many quotes out on the internet and on all the social media. So if I find one that really hits home, I grab that and I'll put it up, I'll write it and put it up somewhere so that I can see it, on a daily basis as well to remind myself. But I think also having those positive people, as you said, that getting rid of the negative and what somebody once called that was the joy suckers. Get rid of the joy suckers. And sometimes that's really hard because some of those people can be very ingrained in your life. And so just minimize the effect and impact that they have on you because you might not be able to get rid of everybody. They could be family and things. And so, but minimizing what you allow to affect you is also, and that's hard. It's very hard. But realizing that most of the time when people come at you with negatives and other things, it's not about you, it's about them and where they are. And that's a huge thing. That's a really big thing that most people have to learn. And because often we feel attacked, if somebody comes to us and is very negative and all of that. So just realizing it's where they are, not where we are. And, rising above some of that as well.
I agree.
So, can we bring Larry in now, Lisa? And Larry, we'd love to hear what you have to say on all of this.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I can look at a perspective from the man's perspective as you're speaking, and looking at my perspective as far as working with ladies and helping them build their self-confidence. So it's a great topic that you guys picked for everybody because it just doesn't affect one area of your life. It affects the number of areas of your life. And then what you find out is that those areas bump into each other. So as you're going through life, you have an area that, maybe you're thinking it just has to do with business, but it doesn't because it bumps into your relationship with your husband, or it bumps into a relationship with your kids, or bumps into, any other area of your life. So that's why it's so important to understand that it affects not just, I'm going to build my business. It affects your whole life. And so, the coaching I do is what I call holistic coaching, saying that you can't divide your life up. You have your spiritual, you have your physical, you have your relational, you have your emotional. All those areas affect the other areas. And so with your emotions, the same thing is like your emotions and your feeling of confidence will affect those areas of your life. And one of the reasons I really like this as a topic, because I've struggled with confidence, my whole life, and in different areas, and it has caused me to miss a lot of opportunities and a lot of things that I could have done that would have been great. I didn't do because of fear, which fear ties in with your confidence, right? You're fearful that somebody's going to think something of you that that you may not like, and so you just kind of step off to the side and say, well, I'll just take the easier route today, So, in the self-study course, we go through like confident builders, confident zappers, and then different areas of what you think about yourself, your identity, really. It's because what you think about yourself, and you guys were referring to scriptures a couple times, so I'll refer to that also. It's like it's not what you think of yourself, but what does God say about you? What is His description of you? Is that the same as your description of you? Or is your description of you something that your parents gave you, the description, or that your brother did when you were, because he was your big brother, so he picked on you, right? So he gave you a description of yourself. Or was it your friends in school because you weren't a very good basketball player, or a very good, whatever it is in school? So where did you get your identity? Is it your identity, or is it just something you took on? And let's see, who is talking about training? Is that confidence is a learned skill, just like speaking is a learned skill, or just like doing Word Perfect is a, or no, I guess Word Perfect, that's a long time ago. I guess Microsoft Word or Excel or something like that. Are you good at that? Are you, like my ability on getting on Google Hangouts on the computer, that's, you know, I'm not really great at that, so I'm going to say, well, I'm going to struggle with this here. So it's like, where did I get my identity? So that's a real important part. So there's some, what I would like to do is give a definition as far as, so we kind of look at confidence with a definition. And what I have here is confidence is the assurance you have in yourself and in the powers or abilities you possess. So it's confidence is the assurance you have in yourself and in the powers or abilities you possess. So going from that as a baseline, you might say, for how you look at confidence, but don't confuse it with self-esteem, which is like a favorable impression of oneself, or self-worth, which is defined as a sense of one's own value as a person. It's like having those lead in to your self-confidence. Those are just, you know, let's say building blocks to build on, to build up and have, you know, your confidence in yourself to do what you really want to do. So, you know, the name of the self-study coach program is Confident You Leap Outside of Your Comfort Zone and Achieve What You Want. So you may not be comfortable with what you're wanting to do or trying to do, but remember, it is a learned skill. But, you know, whatever it is that you want to accomplish is a learned skill. So let's see, Lisa was talking about having mentors and a support system. So having people support you, or in your training, or as in your studying, or like you were looking up all the statistics, and so you understand how the world is operating. So from how the world is operating is that you don't necessarily have to buy into that. You know, you can say, okay, I see that's the way it is, but that's not, you know, I'm going to create my own economy, so I am going to live with confidence, even though maybe people are trying to drag me down, you know, and trying to pull my confidence from me. It's, you know, I'm not going to accept that. There's a book, and I can't remember the name of it. It's called You Don't Have the Luxury of a Negative Thought. No, you do not have the luxury of a negative thought. And so if you focus on the statistics and that you know, this is true, but it's not true for you. Okay? If you'd say, okay, that's true, but it's not true for me. And I get confused with saying you and me, because I'm talking to you and I said, was you, or you, me, or and me, you know, which is it, right? Okay, so, but you understand, I think you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely, yeah, I think that's so true. And the identity thing is huge. We even received some comments that were really good. Luke says, very fundamental. So fundamental.
yes.
And then Art Aqua 30, I'm not sure whose name belongs to that, but says that they pray a lot and surround themselves with people that are like-minded and that they can learn from. And that's really true. That brings up a big thing, too, that you can learn from people, you know, that mentor you and that you can learn from. And they go on to say that comfort zone is a nice place, but nothing ever grows there.
No, well, I guess you could
continue.
You can say that about Phoenix, Arizona. It's a desert. You know, nothing grows there. So you have to plant your own. You have to plant your own seeds, so to speak. You know, and then you have to water them. You know, just like farming, right? It's like you plant the seeds. First you till the soil, you plant the seeds, then you have to pull the weeds. And you know, the weeds, you can say, well, that's the people, the negative naysayers around me are the weeds. You know, I got to get rid of that or not listen to that. Maybe you do have a job and you're around people that you know you can't avoid being around because you work with them. So, you know, the advantage of being in your own business and creating your own business, you can choose. If you want to hire somebody, you can choose somebody that you like being around rather than somebody you don't like being around. So that's definitely an advantage of starting your own business. And starting your own business, as far as women go and working with women, I find that they're much more amenable or ready and willing to learn as men are. Like you say, men will say, well, I already know it. You know, I don't need to learn anything else. I don't need to go to a class or a seminar. So, but women, you know, I mean, the majority of the seminars I go to are like 80% women, and you know, or more, and a few men. So I'm kind of stuck. You know, I feel like an outsider, right? So you know, that tells me that the women are willing to learn. And obviously they're capable of it. You know, their IQs are equal to, you know, if you measure by IQ, they're equal to or better than men. But the advantage I think that the women have over men, as far as with your particular business, the, you know, virtual assistant, is that you're ingrained with being a caregiver, which is great, because what you're doing, you're caring for these people that you're trying to help out. And a man might try to help them out, but not necessarily care for them. He's just going to do the job. But you know, with the woman, she actually cares for them and supports them in what they want to do. You know, I was in the real estate. I was in a number of businesses quite some time ago, and I had a secretary, and she totally supported me. It was like, you know, whether I was doing it wrong or right, she just supported me. She was totally, you know, on my side, and that really was good for me, because I, you know, and I think even, you know, male or female, that doesn't make a difference, is encouragement. Encouragement is one of the strongest things that will move you forward, you know, rather than criticism. You know, it'll build you up rather than tear you down, and so that makes it easier for you to move forward. Yeah, I'd like to read something out of a book, and it has to do with the fellow's name is Garrett Gunderson. And he talks about the hidden financial potential of an individual. And he has two concepts, and he called it the soul purpose and the human life value. And in the soul purpose, he says, is the mission that you were born to fulfill. And every individual was born with a unique and powerful soul purpose. You can recognize yours by identifying what you do all day long, whether you get paid for it or not. When you find something this fulfilling, you can deliver it as value to others, then you are living your soul purpose. Not only will you get to do what you love, but you'll get paid for it. And you'll be very successful. You'll be doing something that not only you can do at that level, which makes your services and your products valuable indeed. Okay, that's one part of the two steps or two concepts. And the other concept is called human life value. And human life value is the knowledge, skills, abilities, ideas, relationships that you have, the qualities that let you produce value for others, and the most important source of wealth. Applied human life value is a source of all money, prosperity, and progress. So the more you increase your human life value, the more value you'll provide to others. And that's what, what we're doing is providing value to others. You provide value to the people you're working with. And my goal is to provide value to you so you can provide value to them. So the two principles are foundation of all wealth and happiness. Without these principles behind your actions, will remain stuck in a grip of accumulation and consumerism. So it's like, are we going to do it this way, or are we going to do it the world's way? So we want to step out of, say the world system, and then create, our system where we're confident that we're going to be able to accomplish, what we want to accomplish, and then have people supporting us in that. So, does that hit home? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, it does. What I'm getting is that it's sort of like, with anything you start in business, you have a mission, and defining that mission for yourself and it helps you determine what road you take, and it's not looking at what everybody else is doing, but how it affects you, what your goals are, what your what's going to give you the passion. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there, but a lot of times it's covered up.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So our job is to uncover it. Whether you're digging for it yourself or you're having someone else help you uncover it. Our job is to uncover it and take the responsibility. We have to actually take the responsibility to uncover it, because we're the only one that's going to.
Yeah, and so you can't just start a business because you want to or because you want to make money. It's basically you're sitting there and saying, what is it I'm wanting to achieve? What's the goal I'm trying to get at? Yeah, we all want to make money, but there's a bigger purpose, and what is that purpose? And defining it for ourselves is, I guess, what you're saying, or how I'm interpreting what you're saying.
I think the why question comes up a lot in what you're, as far as that goes. Like, why? The big why question.
Right.
You have to always go back to that. Why are you doing what you're doing?
Right. Yeah, and I see that Angela made a good comment. She said, I increase my confidence by simply doing. Once I moved past the fear, I was all set. Starting a business is a confidence booster as well.
Mm-hmm. And then we have another comment from Charla. Did you see that, Nanette? Charla says encouragement rather than criticism. So she's talking about what you were talking about, Larry, is a better catalyst to move forward. That's really good thing to remember when working with teams. That's especially so true, Charla. And especially as, the three of us, we have teams. And so I know that's one thing I really try to remember is even if somebody does something wrong, it's okay. We can get it right, but encourage them in what they do right. Always correct, but then also encourage them in the things that they've done right. And you also create loyalty that way as well. But I wanted to go back to something you said, Larry, also, the value. I think that's a huge thing because for women especially, we tend to, and it goes back to all of those statistics and everything we talked about earlier, but we tend to value ourselves less. And I love that you brought up who we have our identity in, because it all just, it all ties together into the person we are. And all of those things affect everything else. And it even affects how people treat us, because if we don't have the confidence in ourselves and we don't value ourselves, others won't either, and they'll be able to see that. So I think that was a huge thing that you brought up.
Yeah, there's another thing. Speaking of statistics, I'll give you a statistic that you may not have heard of. You've heard of the Dove Foundation, like Dove soap. They have, a great research foundation as far as soaps and whatever. But they also have research into women, and the one statistic that really hit me was only 2% of women believe they're beautiful. Only 2% of women believe they're beautiful. So it's, I haven't really, developed this, but my idea is to bring the other 98% into that 2%.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it goes back to a lot of those things, but also, isn't it Dove that's doing the big campaign on the Body Beautiful kind of thing or whatever, where they're bringing in all different shapes and sizes? Because for so long, all we've seen is one type of person on TV, and you weren't allowed to be any other kind. And that wasn't reality because, they're all made up and photoshopped and all those other things. But, that wasn't really brought forward for many years. So everybody thought, that's the perfect woman is what you see there. And so, I can understand why they say that. And we also nitpick ourselves. If you ask a woman what they don't like about themselves, they can tell you right away the things. So we tend to do that to ourselves a lot more, I think, than men do.
Yeah, and you can't afford to do that. Like, you can't afford the luxury of a negative thought. You can't afford any words like you were just now saying. You can't afford that. I mean,
No.
and it's a habit, that we've developed, me included, and you have to break the habit. And it's like, and part of that is one thing, like listening to this, webinar right now, or our talk, is that we have a filter, and we filter what we're hearing through that filter. So, if your filter is filtering through that, I'm, ugly, I can't do this, or I'm not as good as that person or the next person, if that's the filter you're listening through, then you're not going to get very much out of this talk. But if you're willing to take that filter off, or, drop it off, and let something maybe new come through, then you will hear something that will make a difference in your life. And so some people, that go through, a seminar or a training, and only a certain percent will actually get value out of it, because the rest of them are so set, in their hearing and their listening, that they just don't, get what's really good for them. And so as we're speaking, to an audience, we want to shape their listening so they'll hear what we're saying. Shape their listening, and that way it can make a difference in their life. So when because we're already running out of time, I'm going to wrap this up with, if everybody has a pen and a paper, I would like you to actually do this, not on your laptop or your notebook, but actually with your hand on a pen and paper. Grab a pen and paper, and on one large sheet, I want you to draw a star. You remember how you used to draw a star? Going zink, 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 like that. Draw this large, huge star, and I'll give you about 30 seconds to do that, even if you have to run around the corner to grab a pen and a piece of paper.
While we're doing that, we have a couple of really good comments. We have Dark Aqua again says, great info as always. And then Luke says, our identity and value we perceive ourselves all comes back to our identity and being willing to be confident in ourselves and in a higher power in life. Confident things will work out eventually. And he said, you can't afford the luxury of negative thought. Excellent, Larry.
I didn't come up with that, but I still.
But you brought it to our attention.
Yes. Nothing is new under the sun. So all I'm doing is repeating things that would be good for you. So I'm not the creator of this heaven and earth. So on the star, above the star, write, you are a star. And it's like I don't mean you, but you write me. I'm saying you, which is me to you, right? That's always the confusing. Okay, you are a star at the top, and on one point of the star, make what makes me unique. One part of the star, right in that little part, what makes me unique. And in the center of the star, where it kind of makes a triangle, or more or less of a triangle, just write your sole purpose and your human life value. That's in the center of the star. Okay, now what I'm going to do is have Lisa mail everyone that listens to this, whether they listen to it live or they listen to it on a recording, mail you a copy of the self-study program. And so it'll go into a lot of the details that I didn't ever get to because we were in a conversation. So I didn't follow the top outline of the topic, but that's okay because you'll get double value. Because what we talked about here today isn't necessarily in the self-study coaching program. So you can go through it. And it has some exercises at the end of the program, and you can fill in the blanks and work on it. And I think Lisa will do that today or tomorrow. But she actually has to have your email address to be able to do that.
Exactly. I have several already. Viewers that have provided their email address, Larry, so they can get the Confident You Self-Study. And for those watching, Larry is a professional business coach. So if you would like to have a conversation with him about coaching, he would be more than happy to help you with that as well. Larry, provide an email address or some way of contacting you if
you can
Facebook page or whatever if they are interested in coaching.
Yeah, if they just go to confidentyou.rocks, www.confidentyou.rocks. Rocks is a new extension from .com, and it sounds kind of cool.
So true. I like that.
confidentyou.rocks, and you can make an appointment on there, and then we'll have a conversation and see if it, if we could work together and if it make it, be a benefit to you. And
we have a couple last comments too from. We have Angela says, "Awesome hangout, everyone. Larry, you did an amazing job." And then Kim says, "We need to remember that we are fearfully and wonderfully made." Thank you, Kim. And each of us has gifts and talents to share with others to make a difference in the world. So true. And Larry, we really appreciate your very generous offer. So I think I'm going to sign up for it too. So Lisa got my email.
Okay. Yeah, and she also put my email address up there on the.
Excellent.
I don't know if everybody sees that or not. Larry.
If they don't, it's Larry at formula2wealth.com. That's Larry, Larry, at formula, FORMULA, 2, and wealth, WEALTH.com.
I'll put it on the new link here also.
And then put in the subject line, Confident You Talk, or, the VA Talk, or something that way I'll know. I'll recognize that. And
very good, very good. Thank you, Larry. We just really appreciate.
Last thing I want to say is that you guys rock. Thank you for listening to what I have to say. And I believe in you. Your success comes in cans, not cannots.
Very good.
And just follow your dream.
Very good, very good. Angela wanted that address again, please. The Confident You. Is it confidentyou.rocks? Is it ROCS? Or
Yeah.
ROKS?
No, ROC.
Okay, I
ROC.
wrote it wrong. Thank you, Angela.
And
ROCK.
it's not Be Confident You, it's just Confident You.
Confident You. I'll redo it. Confident You. .rocks. ROCS.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anybody want to quickly? We have a few minutes left. Just want to summarize and finish us up.
I mean, I think there's a lot of value in what we're saying. What I will say is that during this research, I found some interesting books that people may want to read on confidence. That there's one called The Confidence Code, and one was another book said You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. So I'll post these up on our Google site if people are interested in reading them. And there's also a little quiz on the level, what level of confidence you have. That's I found fun to do. So I'll also post that.
Oh, good. Very good. I look forward to that, Annette. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the research you did. You did an awesome job on all that research. Sure. And, just remember, we're here to help you all. So anything that we can do, we really want to do. We just really want to help you succeed in business and life and everything you do. And so I know for myself and Lisa and Annette, that was the reason we began this. So we're just here for you to help you in any way that we can. So always feel free to private message us or anything else. And you can also find our emails on the VA to VA page on G+. And we're coming out with a little booklet soon. So look forward to that, as well as our website. We're actually going to have a website soon. And we really appreciate everybody that watches. We can't thank you enough for that. And you've inspired us to continue. So this is our second year. So we're very excited to continue and bring you all hopefully great information. So thank you for continuing to watch. Lisa, any last comments?
No, just thank you so much, Larry, for taking the time. I know it's early in Arizona. Right now, you are 2 hours behind the East Coast, so you got up extremely early to meet with us today, and I really thank you. You are a wealth of information when it comes to, things that hold us back from achieving our dreams. So I think it was a very positive discussion, something that we're seeing from the attendees that is very needed, and let's just lift each other up, especially as women. We find so much competition and jealousy and cattiness in the circle of women, and in order to succeed, it's best to just build each other up.
That's true.
Absolutely, and that's what we need to do, and that's one of the things I love about the VA community. We're all there supporting, collaborating, and not competing, and I just so appreciate that. Well, we've come to the end of our time, and feel free. I know somebody said, I don't know how to private message, so they gave us the email right on the page there. That's fine. If you don't mind doing that, go ahead and put your email right there for us, and we'll be sure to get it to you. And we're just saying bye for now, and we'll be back again next month. And thank you again, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. You're welcome. It was great. It was fun.
Bye, everyone. Have a
Bye.
great weekend.
Bye-bye.